Hi there everyone, Nubkeks here, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you all about how to upgrade your gear with Valor points in patch 9.0.5 of Shadowlands, right? This is the new feature that's just been added to the game. So a lot of people might not know how to do this yet, or some of the intricacies of how to earn and where you should spend your Valor. So the upgrade vendor, he's over here in the Enclave, in the west of Oribos, so nice and easy to find. He is in fact, as you can see, the same guy that you used to upgrade your Honor gear, your Conquest gear. It's the exact same guy. You can now stick in your gear from Mythic plus Dungeons, and you can upgrade these with Valor points. Again, one thing to note is that any gear that you had from Mythic plus Dungeons before 9.0.5 cannot be upgraded. It's only gear that you get from Mythic plus Dungeons from now on, basically, with the patch gone live. For the Great Vault, this week you can't upgrade your Great Vault rewards, but you can next week if you get them from the Mythic plus section, right? So yeah, there you are. I have a spreadsheet here made up for you to show you a whole bunch of these other facts that you need to know. So first of all, there are 12 ranks for these pieces of Valor gear. These are their equivalent item levels. And this is as well the Keystone equivalent, where you could go to just farm these naturally, right? So for example, I wouldn't really be taking like a 187 item level piece unless you really need it and start upgrading it, because you could just drop that from farming 2s really fast, you know? So I would be cautious about that. I will say for sure that there's quite a big jump up here, right? So 210 item level, this drops from plus 15 dungeons. If you do a plus 20, a plus 25, plus 30, doesn't matter. 210 is still the best that will drop from those repeatable dungeons. So to get ones higher than this, you can either upgrade or drop them from your Great Vault. These are the equivalent for the Vault. Completing a plus 7, you can get 213 items, a plus 8, 216, plus 10, 220. To get 226, which is the maximum item level thing, you have to do a plus 14 dungeon and then hope that that item shows up in your vault. You can't upgrade them to 226 yet. 220 is the max. You also do need some achievements in order to upgrade these. You don't need anything to get stuff up to rank 6, which is 200 item level. But to get things to rank 7 or 8, you will need Keystone Explorer on your account. Doesn't have to be on the character, just the account, which is doing all Shadowlands Mythic plus dungeons at plus 5. Keystone Conqueror is completing all of the dungeons at plus 10. And then Keystone Master is all of the dungeons at plus 15 to get them to those maximum levels. In terms of the cost and how you earn Valor, so you earn Valor from callings and also from completing Mythic plus dungeons. So you get 35 from each calling, it looks like, and 135 from each Mythic plus dungeon. It doesn't matter the Keystone level. You're just going to get 135 no matter what level Keystone you do, which is actually quite nice. At the same time then, all of the different slots have a different cost associated with them, but this doesn't scale up, right? So with your PvP gear, that it does scale up. Well, let me see. So I've got this one. It would be like 2,100 honor to upgrade this to rank 4. But you can see that this ring, it's 8 out of 12. It's still 250 Valor to upgrade the ring, right? So that doesn't scale up. This cost always stays the same. Two-handed weapons cost 1,000 Valor. One-handed intellect weapons, 750. One-handed melee, 500. Helm, legs, and chest. So this is like agility and strength. Helm, legs, and chest cost 475. Trinkets, belts, shoulders, gloves, and boots, 400. And shields, offhands, rings, cloaks, bracers, and necks are 250. And then I also did a little bit of a calculation to see how many, presuming you start from 0 Valor, how many dungeons you would have to complete to upgrade one of these items one time, how many callings you would have to do. So yeah, you can see it's actually pretty quick to upgrade like these lowest level things, 2 dungeons, and you can get an upgrade, which is awesome. The callings is obviously going to take at least a week to upgrade these lower level things, but it is doable. And by the way, the current cap for Valor is 5,000. It's here, so 5,000. And that's going to increase by 750 per week. 750 per week. So yeah, I think certainly when you consider that, it's definitely worth trying to drop your weapon. If you can get your weapon to drop at the highest, from the highest level dungeon you can possibly do, that's actually a pretty big deal. Or if you can get that weapon from the vault and then upgrade it, it's going to save you a lot of time. Because yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to upgrade a weapon from rank 1. You're going to have to upgrade that thing like 11 times. That's going to take you weeks of Valor to do. So that's certainly not worth it. I have a priority here. This is sort of my opinion on the preference I would give to upgrading stuff with Valor. Obviously, apply this to your case personally as well. It depends on, you know, what works for your character, what your needs are, where your bad pieces of gear are, where your good ones are. For me, I have trinkets first. The reason being that, you know, the trinkets that you get from Mythic Plus, they're unique. You know, like this Imperial Ordnance, for example. Obviously, I don't need to upgrade this. This was from a vault. But the Imperial Ordnance, you can't get that anywhere else, right? You can't get a trinket with even a similar effect. If you want this effect, you have to get it from a Mythic Plus dungeon. So I do value upgrading that because I can find big upgrades for my gear in raiding and PvP everywhere else, but I can't get this trinket effect anywhere except Mythic Plus. So because it's unique, that's why I value it. However, that might not matter to you, especially if you need these upgrades on all of your gear. You might actually upgrade trinkets near the end, but the unique effect is why it's number 1 for me. Now, number 2 is definitely weapons. Weapons give you the biggest chunk of primary stat in the entire game. You can see like 237 intellect compared to like a shoulder is 61, a chest is 81 intellect, right? A weapon is the biggest chunk of primary stat, which is the biggest chunk of your damage or your healing or your survivability, whatever. This is a big deal, so I would prioritize weapons big time. Shields and offhands then would actually come into my 3rd priority. They are super cheap to upgrade, like really cheap. And again, they're fantastic, you know, especially for a tank, it's pretty obvious. Stronger shield, a lot more armor, that's pretty good. But again, shields and offhands, they actually do contribute a pretty good chunk, right? So my offhand weapon here is giving me 125 intellect, right? The primary stat on this is really good. It's giving me more intellect, like a lot more intellect than my 226 level chest here, right? So these offhands and shields are really strong and super cheap. So this is a really, really good slot to upgrade. Helms, legs, and chest then I have next. Again, the reason you sort of already seen it, but if you look, 81 intellect, 149 stamina. Well, that's not high level. What am I looking at? Legs, 81 intellect, 149 stamina. If I compare those to a belt, it's 61 intellect, 112 stamina. And then the secondary stats are also proportionately lower. Same thing with gloves, 61, 112. Legs, helm, and chest are just, they have a bigger stat budget than your other slots, right? So that's why they are more expensive to upgrade, but they give you more bang for your buck. After that then, belts, shoulders, gloves, boots. So again, these, you know, these are the pieces that have less of a stat budget. I think they changed this at some point. I don't know when. I actually thought that these had more stats on them, but they don't actually. Look at that. Your shoulder has the exact same amount of stats on it as your gloves do. As your belt does, as your boots do. I don't actually have to. So for me, I should get some boots and upgrade them because my boots are lower level here. And then bracers, as you can see, have less, 46 int, 84 stamina. So that's a good chunk behind a cloak. Cloak is the same. Cloak and bracers compared to a shoulder, compared to a chest. Yeah, there you go. And then your necks and your rings, these have a lot of secondary stats on them. But they don't have any primary stat. They only have stamina and then your secondary stats. So these can be good to upgrade, especially if you drop the perfect ring with the perfect secondary stats. And they are obviously very cheap to upgrade, so you could consider those. But they don't give you any primary stat, and primary stat is very strong in Shadowlands. So I'm not rushing out to get those. And also bear in mind, this is kind of important, that your secondary stats can change a bit depending on your talent build, depending on, even more importantly, the stats that you have on the gear that you have. So you might actually switch out your ring to something else just based off your stat weights when you run a sim. So that's why I would sort of upgrade them a little bit later. They're my priorities. There you go, guys. Hopefully that's everything that you need to know about Valor and how to upgrade your gear with Valor. Let me know any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.